Welcome to the Pandacast, where I, Alan Samurai Panda Bunney, the CEO of Panda Global, will go over various topics of gaming, health, and competitive esports, all sorts of different things. Today's episode is on the mindset of a competitive gamer and how to have a healthy tournament mindset and competitive mindset in general. Audio link, as always, is below, and thank you all. When I tweeted out if there were any Pandacast topics you wanted me to cover, there were some great responses. I have a nice little list going, but as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or suggestions for the next Pandacast, please leave them in the comments below. If you're on YouTube, or tweet them at me, I'll see them at PG_SamuraiPanda on Twitter. Okay, so let's get into this. So when we're talking about mindset comes in a variety of different ways. Okay, so we are dealing with getting better at professional games, or at games at a professional level, preferably. That's sort of where I'm trying to frame this. Now, the mindset, I've had a lot of players, all right? I've had players that have great mindsets. I have players that have terrible mindsets. I have players that had a mindset so bad they ended up breaking. They ended up quitting competitive gaming altogether. I have people who I've seen change their mindset into something a lot more healthy. I've seen people who get stuck in a mindset. So I have a lot of experience. And of course, I was a competitor myself. I was top 5 in the country at Snake back when Brawl was first released in the first year and a half until I had to quit, go to medical school. And I was top 40 in season 1, the ladder of League of Legends, actually, when the game first came out. So I played a lot of competitive games in my time. These are just a few selection of them. Now, when it comes to getting good at a game, okay, a lot of practice comes into this, and practice feeds into that mindset that you need in tournament. So when it comes to, for example, practice, a lot of people will get frustrated or angry during practice when they can't get the results that they're getting, and that they want, rather. A lot of people will have difficulty just training and putting that time in. I'm going to focus on a couple of games as a few examples, like Smash Brothers, okay? Melee is a great example of a game where practice can truly make a huge difference. And now, famously, Music King said he got good originally at Melee playing CPUs in his basement practicing tech skill. Because in a game like Melee, there's a high technical skill barrier. A lot of games have reduced that technical skill barrier, but there are still skill barriers, technical skill barriers in a lot of other games. So when it comes to practicing, there is the type of practice that makes you more confident during tournament play, and the type of practice that makes you more confident during tournament gameplay is when your fingers, your hands do what they're supposed to do. That's one of the biggest goals of practice before a tournament, is getting your hands to do what they're supposed to do. You, of course, have to be prepared. Knowing matchups, if you're playing a fighting game, knowing your character, no matter what game you're playing, knowing and getting a good feel for things. But it's not always, just knowledge. There's a couple aspects to practicing. One of them being that technical skill, and that technical skill is what truly does carry over. Now, we did talk in the Sleep Hygiene podcast that, getting good sleep helps you, long sleep, rather, the latter half of sleep, allows you to consolidate memories for muscle memory. So getting good sleep is very important, and you're practicing time, but doing those tech skills, getting those things down and doing it over and over and over again. So it becomes sort of just a habit where you're just sitting down at home or in a class or whatever you're doing, and you can just feel your fingers, or even not even move your fingers doing it, or, doing that, or whatever it is, whatever game you're playing, but thinking about it, feeling like you're doing it, even when you're not moving your hands. That sort of shadow boxing, essentially what I call it. Getting in the mindset is about playing the game in your sleep. It's about thinking, eating, breathing the game, okay? But you don't have to always be playing the game. When you're playing the game, you should really be focused on improving certain aspects of technical skill, improving certain aspects of motions, of things that are just rote, are not just rote memorization, but are innate, natural. Those are the most important things, because no matter what your mindset is going into a tournament, those will carry over, and those will give you confidence. Knowing that you can do those will give you that growth, give you that base that you need. So every time you go to a tournament, you will always have that level as long as you stay consistent. Okay. And this is the fundamental of building that mindset, is consistency, is being able to do what you know you can do. Okay. Of course, there's ups and downs. Of course, there'll be days where you play better for your full ability, and days where you just be terrible and you'll be playing awful. All right. But for the most part, having that solid base, no matter what you do, will help you out. Now, Melee is a nice example where you can just practice and practice and practice, and that's all you have to do, and your body will remember what you're doing. Okay, you don't have to play against anybody. You don't have to play against someone all the time to get that base. And I'm not devaluing matchup experience, playing against people. That's obviously the most important type of practice. But I'm talking about the practice that gets you in the good mindset. Now, there's also such a thing as over-practicing, overtraining. If you look at professional games, you find out how often or how long they practice. You look at like NFL games. If I recall correctly, I looked into this. They practice only, I think, 2 hours a day. That's it. Of course, they work out a lot. They study their games. They do other things. But when it comes to actually practicing their craft, they only do it for 2 hours. Because over-practicing is actually a burden. Over-practicing can actually hurt you. Over-practicing and over-grinding is actually not always a good thing. Now, grinding and grind culture, I think, is actually a very good thing overall, and most of the pro players are heavy grinders, okay? They will grind and grind and grind and grind, but it's a matter of timing of when they grind, okay? You can grind so much and then start cooling off when you're coming up to a tournament. Roughly about a week, okay? Cool off. Because over-practicing hurts. And this goes even for studying, okay? If you have a giant test, like the board exams, you shouldn't be memorizing everything the night before. You should have already finished everything. And when you're going back over the week before, all you're really doing is reviewing. All you're really doing is just brushing up. All you're really doing is just making sure things are still working, still clicking, and still feeling good. That's the idea of practicing before a tournament, is you should be doing that tech skill stuff that we talked about. You should be playing enough every day that you're warm, but you're not overdoing it. Okay? So then you go into the tournament. All right? This is sort of where we have to identify different types of mindset. So the practice mindset is, before a tournament, is that of establishing that base and then maintaining that base and going into the tournament with a solid foundation. Then going into the tournament is its own mindset. Why are you competing? Why are you going in the tournament? Are you going to get top 8? Are you going to win? Are you going to get out of pools? Are you going just to beat somebody? Just to get that 1 and 2 for the first time? Setting goals, or rather knowing what you're going into, also determines the type of mindset that you should have for the most part. But no matter what, the best and healthiest mindset going into a tournament is that of growth. Your goal should always be to get better or to do better. And even if you're a top player, Plup is on our team. People don't know this about him, but he's actually something of a perfectionist. Plup will win a tournament and will focus on how he lost stocks, how he wasn't playing perfect Melee. Plup will dwell on that and then go back home and practice because he felt he could have done better after winning. That, of course, can be unhealthy for a lot of people. So I'm not saying everyone should be like that, but that's an example that he's really focused on growth. He's really focused on himself, on being the best him that he can be. That in and of itself is a very healthy mindset going into a tournament, because you don't get disappointed that you went 0-2. You get disappointed that, you know what, the stuff that I practiced didn't come out right. You can make it out of pools and not say, I'm good, I did it, And that's the one problem with identifying a goal before going to a tournament is when you reach that goal, cool, you made it out of pools. Now, is it top 32, top 16 you're aiming for? Like, you have to set the next goal. And then eventually, if you hit that end goal of winning the whole tournament, then what's next? Winning a bigger tournament and then winning a bigger tournament. But it can be difficult to motivate yourself through that. But if you go in with the mindset of, I have to do better, I have to grow compared to last time I went to a tournament, or last time I competed, last time I played somebody, or, you should be using yourself as that yardstick and your own growth, because that, in my opinion, is the best way to stay motivated no matter what happens at a tournament. Even if you go 0-2 and you normally go 3-2, if you can say, you know what, I played against some really good people and I did a lot of things that I didn't do before, or I fared better than I would have a month ago. Those sort of things keep you motivated to continue growing, to continue that growth and continue getting better. Okay. So that's sort of the mindset going in. Now, the mindset of in a tournament can vary and be difficult. When you're at a tournament, you are there to play. Okay? If you are a pro gamer or aspiring to be a pro gamer, this is your job. There is a problem when it comes to offline tournaments, at least in the FGC Smash Bros. Space, in that when you go to an offline tournament, you meet friends, people that you've been hanging out with, talking on Discord or tweeting at, like people that you want to play against, people that you want to like hang out with. That's part of it. That's a wonderful part of going to a tournament and, experiencing a tournament, to have fun. Super important. But if you're trying to be a pro player, if you're trying to get to that next level, that mindset should be secondary. Should still be there. You should enjoy what you're doing, but should be secondary, because that is your job to be there, okay? Or you want that to be your job, to be there to compete. And so we tell our players, don't go to a tournament and party. Don't go out drinking the night before your freaking pools or your bracket play. You made it out of pools, great. Don't get shit-faced and then, don't get any sleep and then go back and you are just dead for your bracket. That's happened to our players before. I'm not going to name names, but obviously we were very disappointed in them, and we had to guide them to the right mindset, to stop looking at tournaments like a party, like a get-together, and to look at them a little bit more professionally. It doesn't mean you can't go drinking. Of course you can. You can have a drink or two. You can go out after you lose or after you're out. Like, there's tons of times where you can hang out with people. Just not before important matches. Okay. So you have to separate that out. Now, when you're actually at the tournament, a lot of people want to grind. Grinding is great. You should play enough to stay warm before your matches, but you shouldn't overplay. Again, you shouldn't be grinding in those matches, hard, but you should be playing enough that you're feeling good, okay? Then when you actually play, and of course, if you can, and this is very difficult sometimes, scout out your bracket beforehand, know what characters you're playing against, or have expectations of what matchups to know. That can really help just sort of ease a lot of stress, and can really help target some of your practicing before as well. Because just like in how, I was saying in the NFL, when they practice, they may only practice for 2 hours, but they also have, they also study, what they're supposed to be doing and their opponents and things. They also do like working out. Same idea here. You should still be studying and learning about your opponents, watching YouTube videos of them, or playing against their character, or watching their character, or playing with their character, however you like learning about matchups. There's a lot of different things you can do. And so you should be doing that other stuff outside of the game, outside of playing, to make your bracket easier and better. Not always possible, of course. Now then, you go into the actual tournament. You're actually playing in the tournament. This is where a lot of people crumble. They put a lot of pressure on themselves, and you can see that a lot of what I've been targeting people or targeting you to do is to be comfortable and don't overdo things. And a big part of that is you don't want to put too much burden on yourself You don't want too much anxiety going into things. You just need to go in and be ready. Don't take any opponents too easy. Doesn't mean you have to respect them, meaning in the game. Doesn't mean you have to give them too much space or think they're going to be a top player and react to in certain ways. No, you got to do your thing and then adjust when you're playing. But, you don't want to be in this set, and someone like unexpectedly beats you in a match, and then all of a sudden your mindset crumbles because this should have been a free match for me. I should have been able to win this. That's not good. Okay? You are psyching yourself up too much. You just need to play your game, focus on you, and stop focusing on everything around you. Stop focusing on the next match, expectations of what you should or shouldn't be able to do. You should stop worrying about, what if I lose to this person? You stop worrying about, what if I beat this person? You should try to really tune out his friends in the back, cheering him on, like right next to you, all right? It happens a lot where I play, okay? These sort of things, you have to be able to tune out to just focus on the game itself. Okay. Now, when you're playing, oftentimes it can be difficult. You can be stressed out, or you can, have something that makes you fumble. You will see some of our players, for example, Esam, between stocks even, when he loses stock, he will take a deep breath sometimes because he gets too ramped up. And he identified between stocks is a great time for me to reset. You have a player like Speed Kicks who plays Tekken. Speed Kicks between matches will think. He won't immediately press rematch. He won't immediately just go. He'll sit back and think. Think about what he can do better. Even if he won, he'll often just take his time. You look at someone like Wizrope. People call him out for stalling all the time, but, drinking from a water bottle that's empty. What he's doing is things for his own mentality. And on top of that, there is a little bit of a metagame there where you're sort of messing with the opponent by taking that time. They get in their own heads and they start thinking too much. And if they're not used to that, they can actually psych themselves out. It's kind of funny. Don't make that your target. There are ways outside of a tournament in order to mess with your opponents. If people want, we can make that its own podcast, but it should not be the focus here. So be able and have techniques of resetting your mindset no matter what game you're playing. Playing League of Legends, when you die, don't rage. Don't get mad at your support, your jungler who didn't show up. Don't blame others. Take a second. Just take a second. And okay. You can't fix what other people's faults are, but you can fix your own. You can think, you know what? I could have done this, or I should have done this, or I'm doing this and I shouldn't be doing that. Why did I get hit? Why did this not work? What is he doing? Focus on one thing, reset your mindset, focus on one thing, find the answer to it, play. One of my techniques on a personal level for when I'm playing bad and I need to sort of reset my mind, I say I should never, even if I'm winning sometimes, I'll be like, I should never be getting hit. Why did I get hit? If he hits me, I say, why did I just get hit? I'm overextending. I need to calm down. I need to pull back. I need to space better. Or I'm jumping too much. He's catching me in the air. I need to pull back. Or I'm fishing too much. I'm going for a smash attack. I need to pull back. Or I need to be more precise, or I need to grab more. I'm hitting his shield too much and he's doing out of shield options. I need to empty hop more. That's sort of my own way, and I get into a rhythm of adjusting, of being able to read my opponent and then make the adjustments, okay? I just do it a couple times to get me in that mood again. And that's sort of my way of resetting my mindset. So the resetting of the mindset is very important. Not letting things within the match bother you too much is important. Losing a match in a best of 3 or best of 5 is also something that should not bother you. Something that should not deter from your mindset too much. You should do the exact same things for resetting the mindset. Saying, if there's someone you should have beat, you say, okay, all right, what went wrong? What can do better? Now, what am I going to do different? If you lose and then start worrying and then start thinking and say, oh my God, what do I do? I can't beat this guy. No, never think that. Never think that you can't beat them. If you think I can't beat this guy, you're done. You're done. You're not going to win ever. But you're not just not going to win. You're not going to improve. That's the biggest thing. It goes back to that mindset of improving. If you go into a match saying, oh, I'm not going to beat him, you won't even get better by playing him. So what your mindset should be is, hey, I'm probably not going to beat him, but I'm going to try my best. Play my ass off. You'd be surprised. And you might actually learn. So playing in the tournament, and after you lose, after you're out, grind. Grind. Play as much as you can, as much as you want to, and have fun. Enjoy the experience after that, after you're done competing. In order to get better and play against people that obviously you can't play against normally. You want to be getting those sets against top players if you can, finding some guys from other regions, or finding some people that play characters that you're traditionally weak against. You got to grind that out, man. That's the point. Okay? Play those friendlies. Play. So the tournament mindset when you're playing should always be about playing your game, improving, and you should always have techniques, whether the ones I described or ones you have on your own, that help reset your mind. And that's one of the problems with things like NRS games before MK11's tournament mode, is the players would often they would get hit in the last hit and then just hit start and then restart the match and immediately go into the next game. And I'm always thinking, A, as a viewer, that's terrible, and B, as a competitor, they don't know what they're doing to themselves. I've been doing Panda Global now for 4 years. I've been doing social media for Panda Global for all that whole time. I still do social media for Panda Global. Specifically, event coverage is what I still do because, I enjoy watching my players play. Who, actually, Shenchan is playing right now. Ooh, I was missing that. Okay, and Mars. Okay. Wait. I thought they didn't play Ultimate Top 42 until tomorrow. Top 48 or something. Okay, sorry. Maybe these are friendlies. I'm not sure. So anyways, what was I saying? Oh, so I can tell you the number of times I have seen someone do a salty run back, meaning they play and then they lose and they immediately go into the next game. My players, competitors, anybody. The number of times I have seen someone do that and then win, I can count on one hand. One hand I can count. I was counting for many years. I was counting until I was so few I forget. The salty run back never works. It doesn't. The people who succeed, the people who do better, the people who come back from bad loss and do it better are the people that take a second. Not the people that immediately run back into it. I know we covered a lot of different topics, and there's a lot more to mindset than just what we talked about. I tried to focus a little bit more on competing at live events and ramping up to that in it. But there's a lot of things, including motivation. How do you stay motivated to play, to compete? A lot of things, regarding these sort of thinking that we can get to in future podcasts. But this should at least give you that base of how a pro player should do it and how not to burn out, but also have that cap that if you do get better and better and better and better, that you won't find yourself giving up or thinking that this is good enough, things that will hold you back from truly getting good. And obviously, this is about pro gaming and this is about gaming in general, but you'd be surprised. A lot of what I talked about can be utilized in many, many different aspects in your life. And I find that my experience as a professional gamer has helped me be a better doctor, has helped me be a better clinician, has helped me study better in medical school. So there's a lot more to this whole programming thing than people give it credit for. Anyways, thank you all for tuning in. And of course, leave any comments below. I will be sure to read them. And be sure to keep it PG.